This is HMS Ocean, the biggest aircraft carrier in the Royal Navy's fleet. She's taken over from HMS Bulwark as the command centre of an ambitious deployment, codenamed Taurus. The crew is sailing through the South China Sea to join up with an international fleet of warships. Together, they're going to fight an air-to-sea battle. Ocean sailors will face fires and floods and human tragedy.
Well, I've just received a pipe to contact the bridge. They've just seen a body in the water.
Don't look at the face. Look at the face, they'll be in your head for weeks.
HMS Ocean's crew is back on duty after 2 weeks downtime in Singapore. They're going to be heading up the task group while the crew from HMS Bulwark have a well-earned break in Malaysia. Most of Ocean's Royal Marines are in the jungle, so there's only 600 out of a possible 1,300 on board.
Okay, listen in then. I want the tallest one, starting from the door leading out to after LCV Bay, going right the way around the hangar, straight down this end, okay?
Down in the aircraft hangar, the sailors are in their #1 uniforms. Petty Officer Andy Clode is mustering as many of them as possible for a Navy tradition called Procedure Alpha.
It goes back to hundreds of years ago where the old wooden warships, we used to go into ports and make sure that as we were going in, we could prove that the guns weren't armed.
Nowadays, it's just a ceremonial thing, because of course when the ship leaves any port, the gunners are fully armed and poised for action. As a stickler for detail, the Executive Officer David Salisbury is doing his rounds.
Morning, gentlemen. My responsibility is the captain's right-hand man. I run the ship on his behalf. I'm very keen that people get their sea heads on, and so there will be quite a lot of people rushing around initially, but I am that final quality assurance check. As soon as the gangway's up, of course, no one can come or go. So we've got to make sure that everybody who's going ashore is going ashore, and everybody who's supposed to be on board is here.
And is still waiting for a few stragglers to come back from shore leave.
Well, it should have been here by 8:45, so they're all adrift. It's crap already, just haven't got enough people. Right, what are you doing, Lofty? Are you having something to do with this, yeah?
The last latecomers arrived just in time to bolster Andy's numbers.
Oi, what time are we supposed to be falling in? Right, 8:45, get falling in now. Right, okay then, listen! Right, dickheads. Who said fall in too deep? Eyes, front, right, turn, generate, quick, march, left, right, left. Left, right, left. Get your heads up. Open out to 5-pace gaps. What do I say? 5-pace gaps. Al-Qaeda must be shitting themselves. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's never perfect. Get your heads up! Stop fidgeting! Yeah, well, they always do well, and they generally look pretty smart on those, and I'm quite happy with the way they perform. Stand up straight! That's what you're getting paid for!
It's only 9 o'clock and the temperature's already reached the mid-30s.
Weather is roasting, absolutely boiling. I'm sweating like David Beckham in a math test.
We'll now stay in this position until the bridge falls us out, which can be anything from half an hour to 2 hours.
The ship's fitted with the latest navigation system, but the executive officer has a more old-fashioned technique to get the ship out of harbour.
I come up onto the bridge roof because I've got a good visibility all around the ship. The captain stands down on the bridge wing where he hasn't got an all-round visibility. I act as his eyes and ears. Stern is swinging, clear water to port. I let him know what the tugs are doing, how much clear water he's got, just to keep us navigationally safe as we come off the wall.
Singapore is one of the busiest ports in the world. To a sailor, the shipping lanes around here are like the M25 in rush hour.
Everybody's going to get back in the blues and the working day begins. We turn this back into a warship again.
HMS Ocean is a formidable force, nicknamed the Mighty O and weighing in at 22,000 tonnes. She's a floating airfield with a 200-metre-long flight deck that can land 6 Merlins plus 4 Lynx attack helicopters. 2 hydraulic lifts connect the deck to the cavernous aircraft hangar below, 4 decks high and taking over half the length of the ship. It can store a further 13 Merlins. But at the moment, there are only 4 on board, and 3 of them aren't working. So the heat is on for the aircraft engineers, like Ricky Fairlamb, who are down in the hangar.
It's very humid, the temperature probably around 40 degrees. It's just, there's no air, there's no sort of air movement, and it's just really, really close and stuffy, and hotter than a Bombay bus driver's glove.
While the rest of the ship's company's been enjoying the sights of Singapore, he and his team have been taking one of the Merlins apart to fit a new gearbox.
We had to take every engine out, this whole shrouding around here, and then the head, then the main gearbox.
The job's already taken 2 weeks.
Put in so much effort into it, and it's been down for quite some time, that it would be nice to see it back in the air again and working properly. So.
The medical team on 2 deck urgently need the one working helicopter, but it's out on exercise.
We've had an emergency this morning, okay? We've got a guy that we need to get off the ship. He's bleeding quite badly, all right? What we're going to have to do is take him off by helo. Hello, there's the Chief of Main, sick bay. Hello.
Chief Medical Assistant Tanya Darkin is trying to get him off the ship. Although she's not a qualified nurse, to the crew, she's known as matron.
Quite severe, bleeding quite badly. We've realised this morning his condition is deteriorating and he's bleeding more, so we really need to think about getting him off.
The patient's got suspected dysentery and is losing a lot of blood.
Take her. You're right, you understand what's going to go on now in a minute. We're going to put you in a stretcher and it won't be long. We're just waiting now, waiting for that. As you can hear, landing on deck. So we're only one down from the deck, so you can actually hear.
The Merlin's been called back from exercise.
Nice and gentle, just nice, relax. Okay? Okay, bum first then. That's all right. Okay, well done, good. Take his legs, there we go. Lovely.
Matron's got a team of around 100 first aiders on the ship, and 6 of them are pitched up to help.
On my control, 2-6, lift! Our guys all put together as a team, and everybody knows their role, and it works well.
As the ship is so close to Singapore, the patient's being flown to the local hospital. Coming up, the Merlin's put to the test.
What could possibly go wrong?
And Ocean goes to war.
Fire! Fire! Fire!
All hell's let loose.
In the sea. But its exotic location is lost on the aircraft engineers, who've spent the last 2 weeks in the hangar trying to get one of the Merlin helicopters back up and flying. They're lowering the hydraulic lift to give it a test run, which also means they get to see daylight at last.
Yeah, you get a little bit of a breeze in here, which is good. It sucks some of the hot, stagnant air out, but it'd be nice to see some sunshine on the deck, isn't it? Looking forward to the breeze. Oh, it feels about 100 times better, diesel. Ah, so nice.
Putting his life in the engineer's hands is pilot Ryan McGibbon.
Yeah, it all looks very good. Yeah, confident. I'll be doing it. Yeah. We'll see. What could possibly go wrong? And it's fine too. Good, good. Hey, number 2. Hang on, sir. Hold on. Yeah, we've got a bit of a leak coming down. Yeah, shut it down, sir. Knock it on here.
That's not good. I think it's fuel.
The fire team are on hand to avoid a catastrophic situation.
Just seconds after starting the number 2 engine, we actually got a signal from the marshallers out the front telling us to shut down the engine. Extremely frustrating. The engineers, obviously, they've put a lot of hard work into getting this aircraft back as quickly as they can because we want to get these cabs serviceable.
So it's back down to the hangar for more investigation. The rest of the ship's company is preparing for an important event. Ocean is just off the east coast of Malaysia and about to reach the site of one of the greatest disasters suffered by the Royal Navy during the Second World War. On the 10th of December 1941, 2 warships were sunk here by Japanese torpedo bombers.
We're about to commemorate the loss of HMS Prince of Wales and HMS Repulse. That, of course, is the resting place for nearly 900 sailors who lost their lives nearly 70 years ago. OK, take 1 pace forward. OK.
Whenever a Royal Navy ship passes this spot, it's traditional to have a service and lay some wreaths.
So you're doing that?
Yes.
And then the next thing.
The chaplain and the executive officer are orchestrating the ceremony.
A few words, prayers, naval prayer, and it'll all fall into place.
Just after the alarm sounded.
A little bit closer, a little bit closer.
A young sailor is going to read from the diary of a survivor.
Part of damage control.
Read slowly, okay? So that every bit of every word. Do you see what I mean? And it sounds painful when you're doing it here, but when you're listening out there, it means that you can hear things, all right?
As the sun sets, the sombre ceremony gets underway.
And he brought them out of their distress. He stilled the storm to a whisper, the waves of the sea were hushed.
It's a chance for these young men and women to remember the sailors who went before them and the risks that they faced.
It was a scene of total devastation. We had to help carry the wounded to sickbay. Most of the men we took down below perished with the ship.
When they throw over the reef at the end, you know, it sort of makes you feel proud of being in the Navy, really. You're standing here in your whites, giving a bit of respect back to those who gave their lives for us.
The next day, Ocean joins up with an international fleet of 10 ships. Australia, New Zealand, Malaysia, Singapore and Britain have formed the Five Powers Defence Agreement, a show of force in a region of unpredictable regimes. And Ocean is leading them to play out a battle scenario.
Right, anti-flash on everyone, hunch up!
They're making it as realistic as possible. In the baking heat, the crew's getting kitted up in their fire-resistant anti-flash gear, including the executive officer, or XO.
We know that from our intelligence sources there's upwards of 30 aircraft which are going to come and raid us later on this morning, so we're just making our preparations now. The ultimate point of this is that the harder you train, the easier you fight.
Matron's doing her bit to keep it real too.
Just started the beginnings of my attempt at burns.
Casualties will be dotted around the ship for her first aid team to treat. Lieutenant Adrian Harris is playing the part of a burns victim, surrendering himself to Matron and her box of tricks.
We've got the hair colour spray, and that's good for burns. We've got artificial bloods and powders, and it's quite good. This is really good. The Marines especially like that. It's like a simulated vomit.
Matron's assistant Kate is recreating a broken leg.
Little tongue depressor sticks. Just snap it in half so you get like a jaggedy edge, and then just stick that in there like that. This is supposed to be a bone. It's great. I love making people up.
The first aid team have no idea what Kate and Matron have lined up for them. In the ops room, they've had word that the enemy planes are on their way.
Expecting F-16s, F-18s, F-5s from a variety of nations, Malaysia, Singapore and Australia. It's good training value for both ourselves and the aircraft. They're practicing their anti-surface role, we're practicing our anti-air role.
The ship defends itself with 20mm guns and GPMGs, but the Phalanx is the most deadly. It's computer-controlled, firing an awesome 75 rounds per second. It's weapon engineer Jim Sampson's favourite gun.
Phalanx is a 6-barreled cannon. The idea of the system is basically to fire as many rounds as physically possible onto an incoming missile.
Phalanx calibrate, bearing red 60.
It will pick up various targets and it will decide if a target's a threat, but it won't be able to tell the difference between a friendly and an enemy force. So you're requiring the officer and personnel to identify whether the incoming aircraft is actually a threat or not. It's definitely the coolest gun that we've got on board. Yeah, certainly.
The jets appear on the radar.
Range 5.5 miles.
Nothing visual.
It's low. It's coming straight towards.
Up on the bridge, they've spotted one coming in.
You look out, red 60, possible threat inbound.
The 20mm gunners fire a volley of bullets. Imaginary, of course, because the guns aren't loaded. But the lads provide the sound effects. The plane makes its attack.
We've now been hit. We've taken several hits, cannon fire, rocket fire and missiles, and that's caused a series of fires and floods throughout the ship.
Fire, 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 fire in the after engine room.
Fire in the after engine room. Bridge SCC, loss of port steering gear motors.
The damage control team needs to prove they can act fast in a crisis, so their boss, Warrant Officer Paul Johns, has plans for them.
All hell let loose.
Flash, flooding, line Charlie Bell, thrusting department.
We have a script and we have injected various rocket attacks, fires, floods into a ship scenario. I get to cause carnage on board the ship, get to stand back when everyone else is getting hot and bothered, and then I get to assess it afterwards, so it's a unique job.
8 decks down in the bowels of the ship, Paul's rigged up a fire. And Matron's burn victims are standing by.
Right. Ready to go.
Fire, fire, fire! Fire in Antonio!
Every crew member has a secondary job during an emergency. They rely on each other to stop the ship from sinking and save lives. Adrian's playing his part to the full.
Okay, can you tell me what happened?
A big flash and
big flash, yeah?
And there's smell. My 2 friends are still down there.
Watch his head.
Of course, they do appreciate that it's for practice, it's not real, but the adrenaline flows and you want to make sure that you don't get it wrong.
And they're up against the clock.
You've probably got 30 seconds left now.
Come on, as quick as you can, he's going to die otherwise, isn't he?
The last casualty is lifted out to safety. But the first aiders haven't figured out why he's yelling. Matron's on hand to guide them.
Expose his legs, have a look at him. Okay, he's got a broken leg there. Now have a look at that one. What's things happened there? He's burnt. That's why he doesn't want to touch his legs, all right?
The firefighters arrive on the scene to put out the blaze.
Obviously, there's no flames in here. There's stacks of smoke, but they're doing really well, actually. I'm really pleased with the drills. Fire's extinguished. Yeah, you've done it. Well done.
In an emergency, the crew would still need feeding, so they're going to practice what the Navy calls action messing. It means the galley has to feed all 600 of the ship's company in just 75 minutes. Nick Carter is one of the chefs.
This is basically a wham bam, thank you ma'am, get it in there, get it heated, get it out. In theory they have 7 minutes to get from the action station down to here, eat, and then back up to the action station. So it's not a lot of time, a lot of indigestion goes on.
Nick's boss, Petty Officer Mac Mackenzie, takes charge.
Right, V, Nick, if you can start getting all the stuff out of the fridges and start cooking, yep. Menu for today is beef pot mess and veggie chilli.
He's designed a dish that's less cordon bleu, more cordon brown. It all comes from a tin, so there's no frills.
Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's get rid of a few then.
Just when it's all going smoothly, the examiner decides to pile on the pressure. Numbers are reduced.
Right, Hattie, you're no longer in here, get out. Butch, thin out, you're no longer required.
Even during an attack, domestic accidents can happen, so head chef Mac is given an injury.
OK, Mac, got a simulated burn now. Right, you've just been burnt by that brat pan, so make all the...
A junior chef decides a pan of water might help.
First aid team!
Nick is now in charge.
Right guys, Mac's been taken out, but he's safe, so we're all okay. Gogsy, can you take over please from me on the food? I'll take over as IC. You happy, V? Yeah. Good.
Ladies and gents, you've got about 15 minutes before we need to have some food on the counter. You've got enough food hot to keep a continual flow, yeah?
Excellent. Food's out on time, it's hot. Everyone's loving it, as you can see.
Today went very well. They achieved the aim of feeding the ship's company within the set times, and the fact that the leading logs took over halfway through, had a full grip of what was going on. I'm pleased that they received a satisfactory result today.
Just as they're digesting their food, the ship takes another hit, to the delight of Paul Johns.
Coming through. We're off to a compartment called 9 Charlie, and I've got a feeling there might be a flood in there.
Paul stuck a rough sketch where the hole in the hull would be.
They're going to force some padding against the side of the ship with a T-frame, and that's just going to keep that padding in place, and it's going to protect that split in the side of the ship.
But the team's putting the wedges in the wrong way.
Right, come on guys, think about what you're doing. I've seen better, and I've seen faster. But not as good as I'd like to have seen, to be honest with you. More training required.
Up on the quarterdeck, Paul's created some blast holes for another flood. And this time, he makes it more realistic.
OK, and you come in, you find water pouring out of that hatch.
Correct size have been hit by a missile. We've got quite a few holes in the side of the ship. So what the team got to do is prioritise to make sure that they stop the flow of water into the ship.
They plug the holes with wooden wedges that expand.
For real, it will be a lot colder. No doubt they might be up to their neck in water, but this is the best way we can actually mimic it. They've been successful there. They've stemmed the flow of the water, so that's been good.
In HQ, the XO receives the final battle report.
The major fire down in 8 Romeo, that's out. We've managed to contain the flooding in the steering gear compartment, so the ship is back to a full fighting capability.
But he's about to find out that Ocean has sprung a leak, and this time, it's for real.
Oh no, we've caused our own incident. Unbelievable.
HMS Ocean's flood alarm has just gone off.
You said a flood, which means that something real's happened. It is in 3 Delta. Slightly ironic in that not 2-3 hours ago we were actually practicing this very thing. Chief Stoker,
What was it, mate?
It's a byproduct of this morning's little fun and games.
Is it really? Oh
Yeah.
no, we've caused our own incident.
Look. Directly above there is the cleansing station where the fire this morning's exercise was. Alright, so all the water's come through, it's filled up, it's moved into the mess deck, and this is what we got.
Unbelievable.
Paul tracks the source of the leak to a hatch, leading to where his team were practicing flood control earlier.
All that's happened is it's been put back down and no one's tightened it up. So
Right.
effectively, it's just sat there and the water's come through and gone down.
It soaked all the cushions and duvets in the Marine's mess.
Obviously, we're going to have to tidy it up, new carpet, mop it all dry. So a little bit of an own goal. And I have to go and explain myself to the captain. Whee! Steady!
And Jeff, you all just get said binos right now, heavy McCullough. Sticking a small contact bearing 040, which is red 30. Just got a small barrel or something like that, just confirm what it is.
Up on the bridge, something's been spotted floating in the water. The XO is on his way for a closer look.
The Oswatch has asked me to contact him. I've spoken to him on the telephone and he says they've just seen a body in the water. The Oswatch noticed that there were a number of buoys in the water and in his attempts to avoid the buoys found that there was a body floating face down and so we'll send out a boat to be able to have a look and see and pick up that body.
Scary. Kate, just go. You all right with this? We'll debrief you after.
Matron's first aiders have to help retrieve the body.
Right, guys, as you know, there's been a report of a body in the water. Not something that we deal with every day, as you can imagine, okay? It's going to be quite upsetting for you, right? Now, I will warn you that your fingers may go inside the body, all right? Just be aware of that. Please, no screaming, don't get upset, all right? Just try and treat it with respect at all times, if you can. Right, just remember it is a person. Are you happy with going in the boat? Yeah? Okay, guys. We're going to treat it as if we would as a man overboard. Not a lot of people have seen a dead body before, especially in this state, so I have given them a warning of that. I would say, from my experience in the past, you know, it's not very pleasant.
It looks like the body's been in the water for several days and sharks have begun to circle it.
It's been kept quite hush-hush, to be honest, on the ship. Not a lot of people know this is going on, for obvious reasons.
As the body's lifted on board, Matron prepares her girls for the worst.
Don't look at the face, right? Look at the face, it'll be in your head for weeks. Don't look at the face, all right? It's not a pleasant thing to see. I try to tell my guys not to look at the face, because that will stay with them, to be honest. But we're getting there, we're getting there. It smells pretty horrific, to be honest, so I'm just going to put my mask on. Okay, girls? Yeah, well done, you're doing a good job. Right, guys, this is going to be the bad part, okay? We're going to probably be sick. Just bring it over there, lay it out there for me. That's it. Okay, put it down, put it down. Horrible, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not nice. You just have to deal with it as it comes in. Be professional.
The body's taken to a makeshift morgue.
Okay, cool. Well done, guys. Go and have a good shower, wash your hair, scrub your hands, scrub your body. Bring all the overalls up and we'll put them in a yellow bag, all right? All right? Whew. All in a day's work.
The rumours are spreading, so the XO pipes the ship.
You should be aware that a dead body was found this morning, an Asian male, 30 to 40 years old.
The seaboat was then dispatched to duly pick him up. He's now on board. Very, very well done to all involved.
In what was obviously an extremely traumatic experience on a decomposing body.
Well done to all.
Sad. It's upsetting because of the kids. I never let them see me cry.
Do you feel like a bit of a mum too?
I am their mum, yeah. And I feel sad because I've had to put them through that. And they're sad and they're upset. And that upsets me. See you later.
They think the dead man's a local fisherman. So they're taking him to one of the Malaysian Navy ships in the fleet in the hope that they can get him identified.
My team and I are here just to transfer the body to make sure that its legalities are all kept within, within our law.
But there's a hitch.
Pilot ladder. It's a what?
It's a pilot ladder.
Oh, you're fucking joking. Oh, Jesus, man. How are we going to get him up there? I'm just trying to think how we're going to do this without, keeping the respect at all times. Yeah. It's not ideal, but we'll come up with something. Mate, can you ask somebody how they're going to do this? There's no way I can put him through a vertical ladder. It's not good enough. I'm not disrespecting the body in any way, shape or form.
There's a standoff.
There's no rush, We'll wait and see.
The Malaysians come up with an alternative. A metal staircase is attached to the side of the ship.
That doesn't look very safe to me, does it? With 4 people and a body, it's not going to hold us.
Matron's got a better idea.
Sir, do you want to just deploy their seaboat and then we'll just transfer it across like that? Okay, lift. It's a bit surreal. It's not until we sit down later, I think, and sort of take in what's gone on today that we'll realise that actually we've been dealing with dead bodies today. Whatever you do not drop them over the side. But it's our job, and we do it.
Back on Ocean, the aircraft engineers have just finished fixing the fuel leak on the Merlin. Pilot Ryan is going to test it on the ground. But first, the engineers have played a practical joke on him and vandalised his visor.
I've got something on my head.
Ryan's not your average pilot.
I left university, got a job in the city, couldn't stand it, stuck behind a desk checking the same emails every day, got a hump with my boss, handed in my resignation and thought, I know, I'll give piloting a crack. And shockingly they turned around and said, yeah, all right, we'll give you a job. And that was it. I haven't looked back, that was 6 years ago.
Have you done it right now?
It's often irritating when you tell people what you do and they say, oh, you're in the RAF then? No, I'm in the Fleet Air, I'm in the Royal Navy.
Right, let's give it a go.
How many people can say their office is in a, in a helicopter around the excitement of flying around? It's every boy's dream, isn't it?
That was rather smooth. That was too smooth.
With the Merlin tethered to the deck, Ryan cranks the engines up to full power. It's looking good.
We like them apples.
That's us right on the limit of being serviceable on the ground. So I think that means we'll take you up for a check test flight. We'll go in, chat with the engineers, have a discuss with the ship and get a flying window and get it in the air. Hopefully we'll get it cracked in one.
Sorry, in one flight. Oh. Bugger.
Another leak.
Is that hydraulic fluid coming out?
Yeah, it is.
Bad news for the engineers.
Having a gearbox change is the biggest component we can possibly change, and everything has to be removed to do so. The amount of components that we have to replace and pipelines we have to reconnect that may not be connected as tightly as we'd hoped, it's all part of the investigation process, which is why we do the ground runs.
So it's back down to the hangar for the third time. They're going to have to share the space with a class who are limbering up for a lesson with the commander of logistics.
Punching to the front. And skipping.
Long before missiles and machine guns, the Navy used to be armed with swords.
Jogging normally.
In his spare time, Matt Clark devotes himself to reviving this long-forgotten skill.
There's been fencing in the Navy for the last 300 years. Lunge! It is a fighting sport. It's a sport where controlled aggression is mixed with physical stamina. Place! The Navy is full of competitive, ambitious people, and being able to take out that aggression on each other in a controlled manner with sharp sticks is great fun. Just for extra gruesomeness, if this was pointed and stiff and didn't bend, that would go through 4 inches of flesh.
To fire his class up, Matt's organised a competition. It's only 3 days away, so novice fencer and weapon engineer Jim is getting some extra coaching.
I'd say there's 3 or 4 people who are definitely in the running for being able to beat me, so I've got to try and get in as much practice as I can.
What we're going to do is the beat attack. We'll do it first with a step. I'll offer you my blade and stand there. I want you to beat the blade, hit me on the wrist or the elbow. Take it a bit slower.
Jim's used to working with complicated weapon systems,
Think about your feet, slow it down a bit.
but he's finding mastering the blade a challenge.
It's quite difficult. There's a lot of things to remember. We've been taught about 7 or 8 basic moves. It's just a question of trying to coordinate all of those basic moves so that you can be effective at hitting your opponent when you need to hit them and make sure that they don't hit you at the same time.
So try and make your body relax. Beat, step. Good. Well, there's a lot of aggression there. Some that's just beginning to come under control. He had some nice hits. I think he's got a lot of promise.
What does he have to improve on then?
Actually hitting me. Step. That's it. He's quite fast and good, strong actions, but he needs to get his point on target if he's going to make a difference. Okay, we'll stop there.
Coming up, the crew strips off and Jim meets his match.
Sarah, she's definitely the competition.
On HMS Ocean's flight deck, it's Groundhog Day for Ricky and the Merlin engineers. Today's their 3rd attempt to get this helicopter airborne. But it's a good day for pilot Ryan McGibbon. He's just been promoted.
This will be my first time as aircraft commander, and I think it'll be a day that I'll remember throughout my entire career, hopefully for a good reason.
Good start, Steve. Go. Happy day.
The Merlin's finally passed its ground test, this time no leaks, so it's untethered to see how it operates in the sky.
Okay, power's coming in match. 77%. Move to the left. Flyco Bravo 2 Juliet is airborne. Port for height.
Everything's running smoothly, so Ryan attempts a tricky operation, helicopter in-flight refueling, or HIFA.
And clear to conduct HIFA, 5.5 spot and Wilco Bravo 2 Juliet.
He needs to practice this difficult manoeuvre in case there was ever a reason they couldn't land on deck.
You can have me, I'm going to give the hunting log to I require fuel. Happy?
Ryan's now just 60 feet above the sea. With the help of his winch man, he's got to hover the 14-ton aircraft at exactly the same speed as the moving ship.
The winch is on the deck, I'm bringing 2 men.
confirm height?
We're 20 feet over the deck.
Make it height 15 feet. Steady, good position, good height.
The fuel line is passed up and connected to the helicopter.
Still in a good position, clear of all obstructions. Go right only 1 yard, right only 1 yard. Go forward only 3 yards, forward only 3. Go stop fuel in if you're happy. Yep.
It takes 7 minutes to pump 300 gallons of fuel to fill a third of its tank.
Right, clear right. Forward behind, you get left.
Now complete and crossing permission to transition for 1 circle to land. You are clear transition for 1 circle to land.
But just as the exercise finishes, something triggers the onboard warning system.
Caution, tail valve. Okay. Continuing, we'll go land on and we'll go through the card. Happy? Landed up. Right, caution, tail valve ignoring.
The Merlin's got another problem.
And right, caution, tail valve again. And on the deck, roger.
39 minutes it took.
Alright. Thought you were going to kill me.
Underneath is actually fresh hydraulic fluid. So what's happened is somewhere in the number 2 hydraulic system, there's a leak. Quite glad it broke coming back and close to the flight deck, so we can land on nice and quickly then, rather than it happening at night, because this cab was due to go out flying tonight. I don't think I'm going to be Mr. Popular. The engineers love me, didn't you guys?
No. Reserve judgment on that.
While the engineers get back to work, the rest of the crew has the afternoon off.
All work and no rest, you know, just pisses you off after a while. It's just your time, a bit of time to yourself. If you don't, you go mad. We call it a concrete beach. It's concrete beach, this is. So we come up and we sunbathe. You get all the vain ones, look, all sunbathing. It's all right, it's cool.
Matron's doing her rounds.
It's nice to have a relaxing time, isn't it?
Gotcha.
So I like just wandering around and just to say, hello, you all right, everybody all right? Just to get them awake. You all right?
Yeah, you?
Yeah, not bad. No, I am. I'm like their big sister, really, I think. I look at it as their big sister. I have tears every day, nearly. You know, girls and boys, you know, not just the girls that cry. That's why I think they call me the matron, because I'm like a big girl with big boobs, you know, like Hattie Jakes. As you can see, there's some fencing going on there. It's unusual to see on warships. I've never seen it before, and I've been on a few ships there, so don't understand it. It looks a bit complicated to me. But they seem to be enjoying themselves.
They're halfway through the fencing showdown. Weapon engineer Jim is doing well, but for his final bout, he's got a strong opponent.
Sarah, E.T. Mitchell, she's definitely the competition. She just kind of waits for people to make the mistake and then she just gets in there and stabs people.
Ready, fence.
To win, the fencer needs to score 5 hits on target. And Jim makes a good start, going up 3-0. But engineer Sarah Mitchell's experience wins the day.
It went well today. There was 8 competitors, 2 of whom were very experienced, and they both beat me, easily beat me. They just about managed to beat the rest of the competition, so I'm quite happy.
Next time on Warship, the Royal Marines join HMS Ocean.
Extra 150 people coming on today.
It's the Merlins versus the Lynx as pilot Ryan is forced to share his flight deck.
You want a push start?
And it's the battle of the sexes as the girls challenge the lads.
4 women are waving farewell to their comfortable and quite stable lives as they head to find work and love on the farm. Louise Redknapp's your host for Farmer Wants a Wife, a new series starting Wednesday at 9.